am speaking today about ancient Roman emperors. A Roman emperor is the highest seat of power you can have in the Roman Empire. It is kind of like a cross between a king and a president. You have the luxuries of a king, but still have to answer to the Senate like a president would. And there are 5 emperors that I'm going to talk about today, and they are from the Julio-Claudian dynasty. These 5 are Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, and Nero. Augustus, he reigned from 27 BC to 14 AD, so 40 years is the length of time he had reigned. He was a great nephew of Julius Caesar and was actually considered the first official emperor of Rome. He, in his ascension to power, marked the change from Rome from a republic into an empire. He annexed Egypt, ending the age of the pharaohs, adopted his general and stepson Tiberius as his successor. Considered one of Rome's greatest generals, his true legacy lies with what he did as a politician and a ruler. Influenced other forms of government throughout history, established Rome's first unified constitution, reestablished the Senate, and gave a political voice back to the people. He built an extensive system of roads and branched through the entire empire. This paved the roads for the troops to respond to situations more quickly than before. This also made things easier for couriers to relay information throughout the empire. After his death, Tiberius took reign, and he reigned from 14 AD to 37 AD, so 22 years. He was also considered one of Rome's greatest generals, if not the best. He strengthened the empire by preferring to use diplomacy opposed to force. He had built several forts and outposts to display to outsiders that force would be used if needed. He was prone to depression and paranoia, though, and eventually had exiled himself to the island of Capri, where he had spent the rest of his days until his death. He was also known for his cruelty, depravity, and sexual perversion. He was succeeded by his adopted grandson, Caligula. Caligula reigned from 37 to 41 AD, 4 years, very short time, and for a very legitimate reason. He led significant campaigns during his reign. He didn't lead any significant campaigns during his reign. Instead, he chose to have many building projects, including 2 major aqueducts. He was most of the time considered insane, regarded by most people as tyrannic, debauched, and most psychopathic ruler in ancient history. He spent the entire imperial surplus, roughly amounting to $4.05 billion in less than 2 years. He was greatly despised. He married a prostitute who gave birth to his daughter and was also known to have incestual relationships with his sister. He tried to nominate his favorite horse as his grand counsel. He finally was murdered by his personal guards, who had gotten fed up with everything. And they also, unfortunately, killed his wife and his 2-year-old daughter. He was succeeded by Claudius, his uncle. Claudius reigned from 41 to 54 AD, 13 years, majorly expanded the empire. He was the first to do so since Augustus. He was the first emperor that was actually born outside of Italy, was the first to be appointed by the Praetorian Guard instead of the Senate, and was an aggressive builder, built many new roads, aqueducts, canals, established the empire with Britain. He was a lawyer and trial judge, but didn't always follow the laws that he enforced. Was seen as weak and vulnerable. So because of this, he found it necessary to execute many senators to display his control and his power. He was poisoned by his wife Agrippina, so that Nero, her son Nero, could take power. Nero reigned from 54 to 68 AD, 14 years. He was the last of the Julio-Claudian emperors. Built theaters and stadiums and promoted growth and culture throughout the empire. Murdered his stepbrother and his mother as conspirators to the throne. He is suspected by historians to have started the Great Fire of Rome personally. And that is where the saying came from, where Nero fiddled as Rome burned. He was a well-known persecutor of Christians. Rumors of him burning the bodies of Christians to light his garden at night are recorded by historians. Nero was forced from power during a coup, and while on the run from his persecutors, committed suicide. And this ended the Julio-Claudian dynasty. The emperors in this dynasty came in a wide variety, and some you might wonder how they reigned as long as they did. But all 5 of these men had an impact on Rome in some way, whether it be a negative or positive effect. Still today, the ancient Roman Empire is a big part of human history and played a role in what the world is today.